Um, just I want to say 10 days from Christmas. Not, I'm sorry, 10 days. 5 days from Christmas. What's today's date? 10 days. Oh my goodness, 2 days from Christmas. Um, Merry Christmas to all. Uh, to all a good night. Seriously. Uh, Things are changing in the universe and on the plane that I exist on. There are some things I don't want to be part of anymore, which is fine. Used to be super active in politics and voting and doing. I don't care to do that anymore. Now I'm trying to be super active in sort of spiritual goodness, right? I want to cook better. I want to paint more. I want to learn music more. I want to cook and write and draw and sort of know people, be more interactive with my neighbor, right? That kind of stuff. In my small microcosm, I think that'll make me happier than what I've been doing for 30 years, which is trying to make the world, quote unquote, the world a better place. Can't even get my quote in here. Anyway, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think it all sounds super ridiculous and stupid to do, but I think that's what I'm gonna spend the rest of my days doing, not just the rest of the year. So next year, uh, beginning the first, next week Friday was the first. Oh, excuse me. Wow, excuse me. Yes, next week Friday is the last day of the year. So next week Saturday is the first. Um, yeah, next week Saturday is the first. That's crazy. It's less than 10 days. Next week Saturday is the first of the year, 2022. So yeah, I will see what happens. Hey Milton, I do not remember if I told you last night, but my first guitar lesson is this Tuesday. Yes. Yeah, you should super augment that with all these stupid guitar videos, right? Music theory classes. And don't look at it like I have to be able to play a song by this and do. Just go look at it as like what you're going to be doing for the next 30, 40 like years of your life, right? That way there's no rush to it. You know it's going to be part of your deal. And as long as you don't put it down, meaning you don't stick it in a closet, you keep it out reachable. Um, there's always be music you like. You'll be driving down the road. I had still yet to learn to play anything, and since June, I must have taught myself like 50 chords, literally 50 chords, and no tunes. Because I have issues with strumming and issues with the metronome, which is weird, But learning your own way is what I'm saying, right? Learning your own way. It's gonna be awesome. This Tuesday, yeah. So what is this Tuesday? This coming Tuesday is the 28th. Okay. 28th. I like it. Oh my God, my parents' anniversary is coming up. My parents have one of those late anniversaries. Um, it's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome. Like if you go back and watch when I first started streaming, um, I was complaining about everything, but I was complaining about I was watching something a couple of days ago. I was complaining about it with a smile on my face, right? Oh, my fingers hurt. Oh, my hand. I got a cramp in my hand, and I've got calluses. Wah. All that good stuff. But like I said, if you like the thing, you'll suffer for it. So yeah, I mean, music is just, and it takes you a year and a half to get in. So, and I get why that's generally the mark. Should I cut on more lights? I feel like it's a little too dim. Let me cut on more lights. That's better. All right. So, yeah, whew, I have got to tell you, the society, I mean, the society is ridiculous. So, here's the thing that's going on. Excuse me. Here's the thing that's going on. So, Joe Biden is getting bad numbers, right? So last week he said he wasn't going to do anything about these college debts. And by the way, I don't care about the college debts. I really don't. I view college debts as helping a super small percentage of the society. Right? It's something that they want. I don't want it. If you know what it's like the wealth tax. Right? All these people going, yeah, we should have the wealth tax, and that's only for like the super rich and the uber 1%, and they make it a thing that you and I need to fight about to get the bridges repaired, which works for everybody, right? So it's that like I'm watching. This is why I have to step away from politics, because like I used to say, at least two things worked before. One, that people didn't know this, right? The media didn't know this, and people who knew it kept it to themselves. Now, in the age of the internet, where people know things almost immediately, you're still running the same game. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, my week is just. I was playing a game yesterday, testing out a new game called World Box, in which I play God, and I had my nice little uh, content going. I put in real in streams, a couple of volcanoes, right? Places where it rained a lot, put trees and stuff. Then I started populating with people who immediately start to build little villages and then cities and then city states and then went to war with each other. So I put on diplomacy, right? So nobody, just to see how far I could get. And you know what happened? Somewhere about I played for like 2.5 hours yesterday, like somewhere from like 11 to like 1 in the morning. I did a stream with Ted yesterday. Whenever I got off with him, I got on Steam because Steam is having a giant sale, and I'm a, you know, old man gamer over here. And after about an hour of cultivating this world, I was just kind of like a zombie. So I dropped a zombie in there, a plague in there. Like I cut on errant tornadoes, right? Uh, yeah, at the end of the day, it wasn't being destroyed fast enough, so I nuked the whole world. Sorry. Uh, and I've been having issues with my internet like all day. So this is where I'm at, man. This is where I'm at. I'm trying not to stress too hard. I should so buy that, but I literally have bought 50 games, literally, that I have yet to even play. Shame. Yeah. Shame on me. Shame on me. Shame. Shame upon thy. But this is my hobby. Like my game collection is like a library, and I play them at will or when I want to. It's like books. You read a lot of books, right? But the books you really like, you keep. You know what I mean? And you'll read them over and over again. I mean, you may not read the same book every year, but like if you read the same book like once every 5 years, that's a good book. At least in my opinion. So yeah, we're not gonna clip this on. Are we gonna clip this on? It probably won't work because I'm streaming and this one's my yeah. All right, we won't do that. Uh, 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's pretty good stuff. I gotta tell you, man. Seriously, it's pretty good stuff. But this is what we as humans do, right? It's sort of personal achievements and competitive group play or war or whatever you want it. Right? It's always some competition among us as a group and us among ourselves uh, and us against ourselves. Uh, and that can be done with anything, cooking and music and right. So that's where we're at. Um, I think Ted told me that you can. Sorry, my wife called. I don't hear your last 5+ minutes. Nah, that's fair. That's fair. Uh, So Ted told me that you can somehow show present on stream. Oh, okay. I guess they fixed that. I wonder what that is. We should dismiss that. I should give that a shot. Do I want to open something and test the theory? Da-da-da-da-da. So weird. I was watching. I was watching boats sink today. Yeah, I know. Hold on. Let me move this over here. There you go. And I shrink this down. So I was watching boats sink. Um, Mute. And I don't know, man. One was uh one was sunk on purpose. One was it was an old naval ship sunk for a reef. One was a sinking accident. It was right at the side of the pier. It sank right next to the pier. One was a giant cruise ship that they managed to evacuate, and the local news crew filmed from a helicopter the whole thing sinking and going under the whole giant cruise ship. But one was like a catamaran full of tourists, and someone had a GoPro on, and that one was fucking terrifying. It was totally terrifying. Um, you heard people screaming. Someone said 3 people died in it, but you see them standing, and then all of a sudden the boat's like this, and then people, and then the boat is sort of like perpendicular, not perpendicular, um, 90-degree angle. Uh, th- what is this? 45-degree angle, right? To the water, 90-degree angle. Uh, let's get our angles right. 1 degree is facing right. We're head on, right? That's 15 degrees is a 45-degree angle. 30 degrees is 180, right? It's directly behind you. A 45-degree angle is essentially uh, 15 degrees on your other side, right? So yeah, they just essentially became like, yeah. And then people were GoPros in the water. Oh. And then people were like, you heard people screaming, people trying to hold on as the boat was taking on water and listing, I think they call it. It was not awesome. Let's see if we can we even? Tech Magazine, do we want to play this footage? Ugh, Lord. People crashing into the pier. Yeah, I can't show any of that. It's, uh, here's the magic of, like I was saying earlier, which prompted all this. The magic of the internet is all this information is yours to your curiosity, right? So I've been looking up volcanoes, right? Um, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who knows this. That they all always seem to go off all together, like all around the world. Like some big ones will go and make a lot of trouble out of nowhere. Um, so, excuse me. So then you get caught up in, oh right, they don't just ooze, and some just spew smoke and not a lot of lava, and some will ooze lava, and but some will just kind of like spit giant boulders as big as houses, right? Spew lava, kind of like, and you know, and you got to evacuate a 20-mile radius because the thing is not playing around. So you're like, wow, okay, well, that's interesting. And then they also explode too. Get the fuck out of here. And then you look up that, and then end up looking up like the largest explosions and Yellowstone and super volcanoes, and you make yourself all crazy. And then you just have to be like, all right, you know what? I need to do something else with my curiosity. And then you go look at roast beef vids, which I did today. Not yeah, roast beef. Where I'm not gonna. I would love to cook a roast beef, but how what who how, what I don't even know how to phrase the question to you. I could not eat a giant side of freaking roast beef if I wanted to, right? So it's like those steaks that look really good on like they're like this thick, and they're like this wide, and you grill them up, get them all crusty on each side with the spatula, and then you bake them, and you throw in some onions and butter and all this, and it's oh man, it's great. That fucking steak is like a 4 pound steak. It's ridiculous. Who can eat that? That's why most people's steaks are about that thin. You know, this manageable. I mean, it looks good. I mean, this is a modern era. We deal in video, right? It's not radio, but at the same time, it's one thing to cook that, and then it's another thing to eat it for like 3 weeks and feel your chest clogging up on you from all the freaking yeah. My young man days. I resolved to have my older man days. Old man days or older man days. It'd be a bit more interesting. You know what I'm saying? What do you want to do, you know, with your time and your energy? In your spare time, nobody's saying magic wand shit like you don't have to work, we don't have to work, right? But after work, what would you enjoy getting dressed up for and leaving the house to do, right? It used to be church, right? It used to be getting dressed up, going down to the bar, having a beer, shooting a pool game, right? I mean, now no one's doing anything in the pandemic. I'm just wondering, once I'm assuming this is gonna end, but once it's all over, uh, if you were to throw back on some swag, what would you do? I have no idea. I like pool, but I want to go to another bar, especially when since I'm contemplating quitting drinking Indy altogether. But I do like pool. I do like darts. I love these games, right? I love these little stupid competition games. I like everything but a board game. Uh, I love talking to people, right? All those things have to generally be done in person, and in an environment where everybody's wearing masks and nobody hangs out. You feel really just sort of like you feel sort of like the days are blurring together and you're missing out on good conversation with people. There are people that I miss that I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm pretty sure that's other people too. But yeah, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. All right, so do you want to burn through some news? People are making a lot of money off of this pandemic. Omicron could derail efforts to reverse vaccine inequality and end the pandemic. So you're essentially saying the thing that we've been fighting for 2 years could derail your chance to stop it. I mean, the phrasing of these headlines are really crazy. So the former Minneapolis police officer Kim Potter convicted of manslaughter in Dante Wright's killing. Here's the thing about that. Did you see how she was dressed? Maybe we'll test this with this. All right, hold it. Wait a minute. I gotta get a browser up. Stop being so da 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 da. Yeah. Oh. See, I've got this drink here, and I'm not really feeling like drinking it, finishing it. Ugh. All right, here we go. Can we bring this up? Let's see if we can present this on Present. Select the screen. There you go. Oh, all right. So, okay. All right. It's it's so anyway, this this is her look. Well, this is her smiling in prison like she's having the best time of her life. I don't know. I know lawyers tell people to do that, but you shouldn't smile in your mugshot. You shouldn't smile and yeah, it's just so oh good lord. Um, here we go. Look at how they have her dressed. She looks like your Grammy. Can we pop this open? I don't even know what this is. All right. I clicked on something stupid, I guess. But here's the thing. I know you didn't mean to go to work and kill this guy, right? She had 27 years on. Talk about leaving. Just leave. Just retire and do something else with your time. Um, and then the freaking judge was like, the same. Ah, yeah, the judge. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah. Um. So yeah, we're gonna have to see because like did this, we're losing picture integrity. I feel bad because I think if let's oops, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Um, yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Presenting is back. I guess that's something. That's cool. I guess. I think. Anyway, but she's sitting up there in her yellow Grammy like sweater shawl and her flower dress. Right. She looks like the nicest school mom you'll ever see. This is the games they play, and they were like saying her defense was essentially no crime was committed, even as they were also saying he shouldn't be dead. Look, here's how this works. I think if you go through your day and you do something in the course of that day to affect someone so in such a way that causes them to not be in the world anymore, on this mortal plane anymore, um, you have to take some responsibility for that. And I'm not saying that you need to go to jail, but it's one thing to go, oh, like you know what? Like there's this young man who was driving a truck down a Colorado road and lost his brakes and slid into people, caused a fire, killed like four people. They gave him 130 years with mandatory minimums, right? Judge hate mandatory minimums. They want to be able to pull it out of their ass. Like you should have statute for how much time you can get, and not let somebody get 8,000 years, 300 years, and all this other nonsense, right? Which is essentially grandstanding. Um, and a lot of the whole thing is based on this states' right stuff where there's doesn't seem to be an American standard to this kind of thing, right? 130 years in mandatory minimums. What what happened to intent? Did he intend to kill these people? No. But your intent is to throw him in jail forever. The American justice system is mean, invented by racists and bullies and misogynists, and nobody wants to look into it. because the people who run it make a ton of money off of it. The idea that the the defense, right? Her defense can argue that, you know, yeah, he's dead, but no harm, no foul is the problem with the American justice system. Um, and that's what it felt like they were arguing. And then they dressed her up like a grandma selling cookies. I wonder how much time is she looking at? How much time is she looking at? And another thing, people were out there applauding and clapping like they won something outside the courthouse. It's never a good look, dudes. You didn't change anything, and you got to stop acting like every one of is. And on top of that, when you look at there must have been 100 people there, which is good. But how big is that city? I mean, you go to the well once too often on this for people to come out, and it has to be really egregious. And for people to come out now, how are you going to change it? How are you going to fix it without being showboaty and sticking it on your TikTok? Ken Park found guilty. Let's read it. All right. Kim Potter, the former Minneapolis police officer who mistakenly drew her handgun instead of her taser during a traffic stop in April in which he fatally shot Dante Wright, has been found guilty. Jurors has been deliberating since Monday, that's 4 days ago, before finding Potter, who has served as an officer in the Brooklyn Center, Minneapolis, for 26 years. Should have just retired and got out of there. Guilty of first and second degree manslaughter charging the death of Wright. Potter winced when the verdict was read, but otherwise appeared not to react. A short while later, she was handcuffed and taken into custody pending sentencing. Here comes the sentencing when they go. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. Like the lady cop who went into the wrong apartment and then shot the black tenant there, thinking it was her own apartment. I was amazed she got 10 years, but she'll do something like 5 with good behavior, and that was about 5 years ago. So look for her to walk next year by my my guesstimation of this thing. Um, Potter winced when the verdict was read, but otherwise appeared not to react. I mean, there's no winners here. A short while later, she was handcuffed and taken into custody pending sentencing. Katie Bryant, Wright's mother, said after the trial that she felt every single emotion that you could imagine as the verdict was read. I kind of let out a yelp because it was built up in anticipation of what was to come, she said. What was to come? Minneapolis Attorney General Keith Ellison, whose office prosecuted the case, said they had achieved accountability for Wright's death. Accountability is not justice. Justice is restoration. Justice is restoration. Justice will be restoring Dante to right. That's not justice. That's reincarnation. You got justice mixed up with reincarnation. Justice will be restoring Dante Wright to life and making the Wright family whole again, he added. It sounds talk like a politician. The verdict follows a closely watched 2 week trial capped by Potter's turn on the witness stand, where she sobbed while recalling the shooting and said she was so sorry for what happened. I'm sure she is. Whether Potter had intended to draw her taser or handgun was not at issue in the trial. Lawyers for both sides agreed she mistakenly drew the wrong weapon. Okay, so they both agreed on that. Instead, the trial centered on question of whether she should have recognized she was holding the heavier metal gun or whether she should have drawn any weapon at all. And that is the thing. You shouldn't have drawn your weapon at all. It wasn't an instance in which you needed to draw a weapon. And the first thing people always do is pull their gun out on you. Um, it just, Potter is scheduled to be sentenced on February 18th. That is 2 months away. The state sentencing guidelines recommend a sentence of 7 years for first degree charge and 4 years for the second degree charge. Though prosecutors indicated they would seek a longer sentence. Why would they seek a? It's 10 years. Why would they seek a longer sentence? Uh, she's got 27 years. She did this. It ends her. It sends her to jail. 10 years is all she really needs, unless you can uncover tape where she was like, "I can't wait to kill one of those motherfuckers," and yada yada, yada. And then you can go, "Oh, she was itching to murder somebody." That's a different argument, right? It's like if I go to the 7-Eleven and I take my car and on the way there I hit somebody. I didn't mean to fucking kill somebody in my car at the 7-Eleven or whatever, right? But the cops are going to show up and be like, "Were you drunk or were you drinking?" Right? And then they're going to talk to who served you, that kind of thing. They go, "Oh no, he was here. He was in here drinking. He stormed out here. He said he hated, Santa Clauses at the bus stops ringing the bell." And that last we saw of him, and then the cops go, "Oh, he ran over Santa Claus at a bus stop ringing the bell. Oh, he obviously, see what I'm saying? So, but just because it's not that second one where it's more sinister, you can get like 25 years or life or whatever. Uh, it's also the fact that, well, okay, yeah, well, this knucklehead did this stupid thing. Does he need to do 1,000 years in jail? Does he need to, you know what I mean? Um, 10 years. And again, I don't like to speculate on. I think America gives out harsh sentences in prison, in jail, or whatever. But I don't even know. This is where I don't even know what their appropriate amount of time was. I think 25 years is too harsh for it. I think 10 years is about right for it. But I also think 5 years is about right for it. So I don't know. But but I've often said, I try not to care what the family says, right? Because the family is pulling your emotional heartstrings and wants and it shouldn't be that, because all that emotion stuff was used racially too, right? I want you to be afraid of these black people or a woman voting on, and it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be run on people's emotional well, I don't want to say nonsense. Her emotional hurt or someone else's fear of a group, this or that, but it's all the same thing. It should be kind of the person you are and the thing you did, and if des- you deserve to be found guilty, and then if jail is deserved or required, versus somebody teaching you a fucking lesson, which is all of what American judiciary has been, which is why you have these police departments like this. Um, they're seeking a heavier sentence than 10 years. If she got the max for both of those, that's 10 years. Um, the confrontation unfolded. The deadly confrontation stopped escalating. Yeah, that's just yeah. I don't even know what to tell you. Don't even know what to tell you. So it's 7:30 on a Thursday. We have a calm and quiet, cold. It's cold. It's a little cold outside, and cold night. Uh, we are just a couple of days. Excuse me, a couple of days away. Literally 2 days away. No, uh, I'm not a fighter. I'm a thinker. Uh, we're 2 days away from Christmas, all right? Then we're going to be a week away from the last great party of 2021, and then we'll be back in. Another year start, another year push. Excuse me, right? We're all in it every year to the last year. But remember, try and be good to yourself in the new year. This into this year, everybody's stressed out. Try, to take it easy on yourself. Realize that you work hard. I'm assuming you work hard, and the whole environment is stressful anyway. So there you have it, right? All right. So I guess because I don't really have any other news to kick off. More icons we lost. If you're famous, and you die, you're an icon. You're not just some famous person who died. Like Gilligan from Gilligan's Island, he was famous. He's an icon. Police chief told cops where to get a fake vaccine card. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Are we gonna read this? We're gonna read this. Yes, very weird last 2 years. Um, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. I'm hoping this thing ends in 2020, but doesn't seem to be over yet. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. All right. Police chief told cops where to get a fake vaccine card. He's the police chief, mind you. He's been suspended and placed on probation after telling officers about a self-vaccination clinic. A self-vaccination clinic? First of all, what is probation for a police chief? It's exactly, exactly, exactly. What about Joseph Stalin? Is he an icon? Exactly. I mean, they blur the words so they can control the scene with it. Excuse me. A small town police chief in North Carolina is on unpaid leave after he told fellow cops where they could get a proof of vaccination card without actually being vaccinated, according to local media. TJ Smith, who has the Oakboro Police Department about an hour ago. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm having eye issues all of a sudden. Eee. Whew. That ought to do it. Ah, good lordy, lordy, lordy. TJ Smith, who heads up the Oxborough Police Department about an hour outside of Charlotte, was suspended for 2 weeks and placed on probation for 6 months over his alleged violation of town and police department policy. So he paid no price, really. He got a 2 week vacation and he just needs to keep his head down for 6 months and he can keep it moving like nothing ever happened. I mean, this is the shit you need to break up. Exactly. Exactly. I'm weeping. I'm weeping for the state of things. Uh, for his over his alleged violation of town and police department policy, which include disseminating information about what he later described as a self-vaccine clinic. Accordingly, the CBS affiliate in Charlottetown, Administrator Doug Burgess told Smith on December 21st that he skirted local rules on fraud. Wow, willful acts that endanger the property of others, serving as a conflicting interest, obedience to law and regulation, general conduct, and competence. Yeah, he lied, right? Um, Smith has the right to appeal his punishment, according to Burgess' letter. To make a long story short, in retrospect, I made a mistake, Smith responded in a statement to the television station, which noted he himself is vaccinated. Okay. So he wanted the job, obviously, enough to get vaccinated because they were likely going to be like, we're not having any non-vaccinated police chiefs in our tiny small town. Um, Notoriously, most of these department officers don't want the vaccine. I mean, do you want some cop showing up at your house giving you the coronavirus because he's not vaccinated? He's whether he's a doctor, whether he's a cop or a fireman, or he or she is a cop or a fireman or an EMT. Yeah, man. Of all the people who you should make get it, uh, I mean, the president's making the military get it. Exactly, exactly. He's conspiring with other cops to skirt the law. Yeah, he should be fired. But yeah, according to Smith, a friend called him up one busy morning to share some information about the self-vaccination clinic, which prompted Smith to call two other officers not in his apartment so he could pass on the intel. The intel. Like, you let these guys run these police departments like they're military units, and they imagine themselves as having a war on like random groups of people. Black people being generally their prime target, but there's other groups. He must be put in prison. He's not going to prison. This is South Carolina. I mean, I guess progress is that he got 2 weeks suspension, right? If this was the fucking 70s or the 50s, they'd tell you to shut up and take that shit back up north or whatever, or whatever the drama was. Later in the office, I didn't post it. Hold on, hold on. Having the benefit of hindsight now, is obvious the entire process sounds questionable. You're supposed to be the police chief. Now it sounds questionable. Everything he said sounds like he shouldn't be the police chief. It's obvious that the entire process sounds questionable, Smith said in his statement. I didn't post it on social media, and I didn't really sit back and think hard on it. At the moment, it was just one person sharing the word with another. So you disseminated it, like you said, it's intel, which means intel is not for everybody. It's only for the people in your circle. So you said I like saying I didn't put it on social media or any of this other stuff. Like it was an afterthought. It was hindsight, and I was smart enough not to do that. But I wasn't smart enough not to give it to all these other police agencies. Sounds like the weakest lie. I mean, if you just think about what he's saying, it sounds like bullshit. I didn't post it to social media and didn't really sit back and think hard on it that moment. It was just one person sharing word with another. Later, in an effort to probe the incident, Oakboro hired a private firm called the Blue Chameleon Investigation, according to a tweet from Alison Latos, a reporter with the Charlotte ABC affiliate WSOC, WSOC. Okay, so let's read that again. Later, in efforts to probe the incidents, the Oakboro hired. Okay, so the police department hired a private firm called Blue Communion Investigations, according to a tweet. All right, so the police department decided not to investigate it themselves because he was a police chief. They brought in outside help, which was a private firm versus taking it to the state, which, but I had this thing about the state. Okay, fine. So they paid a private firm to look into it. An investigator with that firm wrote in a resulting report. Lato shared to Twitter that they'd called Burgesses and Oakboro City Attorney, or maybe the city paid for them, the city attorney, December 14th, eventually learning that Smith had made two state troopers aware of the clinic where patients could self administer the COVID 19 vaccine in private. You could go and administer in private, which is like you could just squirt it down the sink if you wanted to. No one saw you do it, and then you come out and oh yeah, I self-administered it. This whole thing sounds like bullshit. Clinic where patients could self-administer the COVID-19 vaccine in private, then get proof of vaccination and cards, regardless of whether they actually gave themselves a shot or tossed it in the trash. See, he shouldn't be a police chief. By December 17th, the investigator interviewed Smith, who said he initially felt it was helpful to share the information with the troopers since they were anti-vax and subject to a vaccine mandate. However, he expressed regret for being involved in the ordeal. Yeah, you expressed regret because you got caught. Uh, I shared something that wasn't true, Smith said in his statement. According to WBTV, I didn't profit from it. I couldn't possibly profit from it, and I didn't do it from a place of malice. I care deeply about others. I care deeply about others, and I sincerely appreciate that I have a job that allows me to serve them and to see things improve in my community. Smith did not immediately return Vice News requests for comment. There's been resistance to vaccination among certain cohort of cops despite the short documentary. Fire all of them. This documentary safety and efficiency in preventing severe illness from the virus. The North Carolina Fraternal Order Police have also expressed concerns over vaccine mandates, implying they could create a shortage of cops. No, they won't create a shortage of cops, according to WNO. So fine, give up the job. Someone else will take it. Done. Right? You want to. This is the thing I find with police departments. People want to have their way. They want to cry about it. They want to demonize you, keep claiming that they're the victim, and always get their way because this is the way they've run these departments forever, and no one has yet to. When I say crack, it's not who the players are, but really actually take on the goofiness of this. I mean, this whole thing, everything he says sounds like a cover your ass statement and keep your job could create a shortage of cops. WNTC said in Charlotte, though similar threats of mass vaccination have come up empty in places like New York City. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he pays no price for that. What is phytoplasty? Yee, that's not good. All right. Oh my gosh. Christmas. I mean, imagine how police chiefs are in bigger cities. Yeah, but the thing about bigger cities is more people. Is I mean, I can't even say no to that because the Central Park Five happened in New York City, and years later, looking back at it, you can see who all the players were and how they essentially all agreed that these five black kids were like, you know, they all wrote books about it, they all got rich about it, they sold newspapers on it, right? The cops got to be wild and brutal even further, and then all these years later, you find out, and they just want to, you know, say it was a bad thing and forget that it happened. But like the newspaper people, the fucking cops, you know, everybody, right? Everybody. All right. So I guess that. Do we want to end this one here? What time is it? Yeah, we've been streaming for about an hour. Everybody's got to get a booster now. All right. I don't want to get a booster. Um, look, what do you want me to tell you? It's the age of a pandemic. You have to take some steps, right? You have to have enough faith in your government to believe that they're not just dum dums, right? And this is when you need to have that faith that they're not dum dums. That this vaccine works and it will somehow do whatever it's supposed to do, which I don't even know what it's supposed to do. Uh, look, I just got over a cold like 3 weeks ago, and colds exist in your nasal cavity, in your esophagus, right, and like in your upper respiratory, coughing and hacking, right. But like pneumonia and like the flu exist like deeper in your throat, like deeper in your lungs, like at the bottom part of like your lung that split into uh like the yeah, okay, so your lungs the bottom of your lungs generally don't get infected, but unless you get like pneumonia, right? Um, and this is what this does. So yeah, I can't even. So then you get another shot, you get another booster, and then we go through a year, I'm assuming. And then at the end of the year, there'll be something different. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm losing my verve and my swag. It it's a couple of days before Christmas. I'm trying to maintain a good sense of ennui for Christmas, right? Uh, I'm gonna play video games and readjust. Uh, and that's what I'm gonna do. I hope everyone else has a good Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, and a very merry New Year. I will be back. Tomorrow is the 23rd. No, tomorrow's the 24th. I'll be back. Who knows? I may pop in whenever. I'll definitely be back Monday, but I may or may not be back Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. But if I don't see you, I got love for you. I want you to have a good Christmas Eve. Um, do something good for yourself, right? Do something good for other people, but don't forget to do something good for yourself. Remember, charity is in the giving. All right. Uh, be charitable to yourself. Give to yourself. That's also important. And Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.